All right, wife of mine.
How are you?
I am very good.
Welcome to episode 8.
That's what it is?
That is what it is.
Amazing. What's up to everyone?
What's up?
Welcome to the Hard Headed Podcast. How you feeling? I'm asking you guys, listening and watching, and I'm asking you, wifey.
Wifey.
Yeah.
How am I feeling?
You're styling now. You wanted to wear that jacket.
Yeah, I felt like wearing my jean jacket today. You know?
Why is it that
I'm feeling good. Because I'm feeling good lately because we've been changing our routine.
Right.
Waking up earlier.
Yes.
So it is definitely putting me in a better mood these days.
Thank God.
Waking up at 8.
Yes. This was our biggest challenge in arguments. Trying to wake up early, breaking a routine.
We woke up at 10 again. I hate this. Yeah. So now we're waking up at 8:30. And it gives us more time in the day. And definitely is a mood booster to me anyway.
What about coffee? Coffee is generally a mood booster for you.
I have coffee once a day, not more.
No, I know, but you've been struggling with finding the right coffee lately because we've been trying organic coffee. We found this really great organic coffee, but that specific brand wasn't happening. I'm not a coffee drinker. I can't. It gives me palpitations. But you.
But I do.
So how's that coffee?
It's Nescafe.
By the way, you guys don't know this, but like 30 minutes ago, she was like jumping around like she was jumping off the wall. She was monkeying. I don't know where that rush of energy came from.
Zoomies.
Yeah, the zoomies.
It's maybe that Nescafe because I don't normally drink instant coffee, but you really love to make fun of me.
Yes.
Why?
It is my duty to be annoying.
Why?
As a husband.
But why?
Because I love you.
Oh, do you?
Mm.
How are you feeling?
Is one of our gibberish words. How am I feeling?
Hubby?
I'm feeling more energetic than last night. Last night we wanted to record that podcast, but it wasn't happening.
Yeah,
I started napping, and then I just saw you join me after. Yes. That's part of adjusting your routine. Yeah. No, I feel good today.
Yeah.
You snored a bit.
Thank you
just
for
been exposed
announcing
right
that
now
to the whole world. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I nudged you. Apparently nudged you.
You slapped me.
I didn't.
More than nudged
Jesus
me.
Christ, because I couldn't see anything. I'm just like trying to nudge you, and I think I ended up in like nudging your chest or something.
Kept waking me up because of my snoring, which I'm sorry I can't control. But yeah, you. I really need to find a solution because I really need you to stop waking me up in the middle of the night.
How do you guys deal with snoring with your partner?
Most of the time, it's like the man that snores. But now in this situation,
that's the stereotype.
It's me.
Yes.
It is a stereotype.
You're the train. She competes with the train sometimes.
There's
a train that passes by.
I'm not that bad.
I like to exaggerate.
Could you like not?
It's just like that. It can go to that point.
You're a liar.
No, that's true.
Liar. You're
that's
lying.
True.
I'm gonna throw my coffee in your face.
Oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's like next level abuse right there.
Yeah. Sometimes you wake up from your mini snores. It's not mini. I wouldn't say mini.
Mine
but you
are
sometimes
like
have like but you have like prompt snores that come out of nowhere, which is like, and then
interesting.
I just see you wake up, and I'm just like, oh, and that's what I said. Interesting.
Yes.
So he does snore.
It's rare.
But he snores like
I'm a side sleeper,
weirdo.
so it rarely happens.
Yeah.
You tend to want to sleep on your back and forget about it.
Right.
I have a lot of room in my nose too from that size, so I think there's room for
makes sense.
Noiselessness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, what the hell are we talking about today?
Today, Mark Hashem.
Yes, Rita.
We're talking about this picture. We found this post on Marriage 365, and it was a picture, a graph, I would say, of the question, what's the biggest struggle in your marriage?
Okay. And so it showed different percentages?
It showed different percentages. It was basically, there were 4 or 5, 6 categories here, like poor communication, broken trust, conflict, hurt and healing, sexual intimacy, and emotional neglect.
Okay. Which one was the biggest?
The biggest was poor communication. 32% of the biggest struggle in marriage is poor communication.
Okay,
which is like something that often people talk about. And
it's like
episode 1 and 2, we talk about communication a bit. The second is broken trust. Okay, which I didn't expect to see.
Yeah. That's something we're going to talk about after.
Yeah, that's something. So that's why we asked for our Q&A question this week on our Instagram story. We asked, I'll read it out to you here. What has your partner done or is doing that has made you question your trust in your relationship? And we've had some interesting answers. We can't go through all of them now, but like some of them here. So the first person told us not communicating needs and then getting angry over unmet needs.
Mm-hmm.
So I questioned compatibility.
Oh, that's the same person?
Yeah.
So they're questioning compatibility.
So...
Okay.
But I feel like it's a bit more like poor communication, because if you're discussing or communicating needs and then getting angry over not meeting those needs, then there's something that's not registering here. Like if it sounds more like poor communication than broken trust.
Yes. Okay. So I would say to that, yeah, of course it's connected, but see, poor communication and it means also communicating your needs ends up causing a rift and lack of trust, because the person is, imagine the person is just not telling you how they feel or what they need, and then it just burst. Maybe because they're expecting the person to be guessing or things like that.
Yeah.
So it's very important, I think, if you've grown up in a family or environment where communicating your feelings and understanding your feelings even before that was just not a thing, and it was a taboo to speak what's on your mind, like in very traditional families, for example, you might grow up having difficulty saying what you need. The second thing, and I think that's true for a lot of men, is communicating your feelings and your needs can be assumed to be weakness. So you don't talk about it. But then if you don't talk about it and they're not being met, it's building up and then you burst.
Yeah. You know, sometimes they say, I know it's mostly with men, like it's not communicating feelings, like they really like are conditioned to toughen up and just really not communicating how you feel. But it happens with a lot of women too. Like I know women who are not comfortable expressing their feelings or communicating their needs, you know, and it's maybe that reason is for not showing that they need, or they're needy, or they need something, or they feel like maybe the other person will run away or will judge them and not want to have to deal with them. So I feel like a lot of women also close themselves and not discussing their feelings and trying to not like express too much how they feel, you know, or share emotion.
Yeah. I think it's less stigmatized for women.
Yeah.
That's one area where the stigma is less on women from what I've observed. Like women who cry or express their feelings is generally not looked upon the same as men.
Yeah.
Although it's changing and that's great. But yeah, okay. So it's true. I've seen that too. Women who also don't feel like they can share their feelings. And they bottle up or they become defensive instead of saying what's happening.
Yeah.
So I think the key here is being able to not judge your feelings and your needs. It's a need. Like it or hate it, it's there, right? So you're gonna, it's like being angry. Before you start deciding whether you should or shouldn't be angry or I don't know what, the fact is you are angry.
Yeah.
That's where it starts. That's what mindfulness is. I even heard a term from in psychotherapy or in CBT, was it? Just in general in psychology, differentiation, meaning it's sort of you become an observer of what's going on. You differentiate yourself from what's going on.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm not the expert on this, but essentially what it means, and I think it ties into mindfulness, is being able to acknowledge and observe your feelings and thoughts and everything that's going on without judgment.
But that's it. I feel like that's a difference. Like there's communicating needs and there's a way to communicate your needs.
Yes.
You know? So I feel like not that person saying that they're not communicating their needs. How are you communicating it? Because there's a difference with, I hate when you do that, or stop doing this, and I want you to like avoid doing this, versus I really need you to stop doing this because it's making me feel like that. And I just feel like it disrupts my cycle or disrupts this, or like explaining why it bothers you without really blaming the other is a better way to make your partner understand, you know?
How do you make sure you don't come off as blaming?
How
do we go
by
about
saying
it?
How you feel.
Right.
about
so focusing on how I feel versus what you did.
Yeah. Like I can acknowledge you for doing something
Mm-hmm.
that I hate, or it bothers me. I'm trying to think of an example here. Like our paper towel incident, for example, where
Yes.
you often use kitchen towels, kitchen paper towels that like you throw in the garbage after. And I prefer using, you know, those kitchen towels that are reusable.
Yeah.
But you hated that because it smelled. But I
Right.
registered that you hated that because it smells. So I let you do your own thing and told you I prefer using this because it's not a waste and I like to preserve our paper towels for other reasons and for reasons you don't have a choice but to use it. But then I feel like and I didn't understand that you didn't like using this because it stinks or whatnot, which I still don't think it stinks. It's because it's washable. But
What are you saying, Rita?
what I'm saying is
no, I get it.
I let you do your own thing.
Yeah, but I also saw your point.
Yeah,
It's
you
true,
saw
so
my
I'm
point
trying
and I
not to
saw
waste
your
as
point.
much.
Yeah, we saw each other's point. That's what I'm saying. I feel like if you express clearly why it bothers you and understand their point of view and make sure they're seen, it's a different communication. It's a different conversation.
Right. So making the person feel seen. And so the key here, I think, in what we do is we're good listeners, meaning I might in the moment not really agree at all, but I'm like, hold on, let's hear.
Yeah.
I need to hear. I need to listen to your side. There's clearly a reason, and I care about you. Therefore, your side matters to me, what's going on there, right?
Yeah.
And usually in your case, it tends to do with being meticulous or about cleaning or in the paper towel incident. And by the way, this is, it's funny and it could sound ridiculous because you think fights are about like, or arguments are about these big things, but it can be something as small as that. But it's not about the paper towel. It's about
the accumulation.
Yes. Or it's about listening.
Yeah.
It builds up if you don't feel heard. So I think what I would do is if the person's bursting or saying you're not meeting my needs, like it comes out of nowhere and then you don't communicate, it seems to be going from passive, where you don't say anything and you take it all, to aggressive, where you just burst it all in a mean way. And then there's passive aggressive, which is you throw sarcastic comments that are like needles,
right.
Like, oh, fine, I guess I'll have to do it myself.
Yeah.
Shit like that, right? So on the one side, if you can tell your partner, look, I care about you, I love you, I realize that something's bothering you, I want to hear what's important to you.
Yeah.
That'll make the person feel heard and make them feel that it's completely normal and fine to share your needs because they look like they're struggling to share their needs in an honest way. And on that side, for that person to learn to accept that they have needs and that you have the right and responsibility to share them with your partner.
Exactly.
If I didn't tell you from the silliest to the smallest to the biggest, it would cause fights all the time because you'd be like, I don't know what you want and you're not telling me, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, I feel stupid if I don't tell you, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work, but it starts with step by step.
Yeah.
You can even write a list. This is how I like. This is what I like. This is how I like it. Okay.
True.
So maybe try a list too.
Yeah. Sometimes people feel overwhelmed though, because like if I were to show you my list of things, you would have been like, okay, whoa, changing everything. But it's more of it was more of a step by step with us. I feel like a list maybe wouldn't work for everyone, but it took you, like, for example, when I expressed what I needed, you didn't do it from the first get-go. You tried to, but it happened where sometimes you were forgetful or didn't. Yeah. The same way I was forgetful with certain things that like you needed me to do. But it takes time, Eventually we did gain it. And it still happens where there's little things that happen here and there, but the way you look at it is different now.
Yeah.
Because you've seen that your partner listened to you previously in conversations and has tried making an effort,
The effort can be seen.
Yeah.
If the person sees you're trying, like you've seen that I try, so you see that I care. Even if I sometimes struggle with this or forget, I'll put reminders here and,
Yeah.
So you make the effort. So if a list, to your point, maybe not an entire list of all the needs. You might not even know what all your needs are in one moment. Maybe a list of 3 things.
Exactly.
What are 3 things you remember this month that you care about, that you'd like to make sure they're met? And then you do the same thing yourself. Okay, what are your needs? Give me 3 needs you have
Right.
that I can work on.
Right.
Because if you're bursting with your needs, all of a sudden you got to also be fair.
Exactly.
Right? So I think that's a good step in
Yeah.
improving communication and expressing your needs.
Yeah. Imagine
Bam.
one partner has 3 things, the other has 20.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Have 3 each.
Okay, you got to compromise there.
Have 3 each.
Yeah.
You know, this
Yeah.
I'm throwing this now. Like, try this. Have 3 needs that are important this month that you feel need to be met and worked on.
Yeah.
You know, prioritize, right?
Yeah.
And then step by step, the next month and so on.
Awesome. Second person. My husband didn't want to work full time like I did, even though they were in a really hard financial crisis.
Why?
Yeah.
Did you talk
It doesn't
about why?
say why.
So, since I don't have more context in that,
Yeah.
well, go ahead. You want to say something?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say why.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why? Is he feeling burnt out? It's the husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he? Sometimes we jump to, oh, you're being lazy. Is the person burnt out? Men don't like to talk about this. I'm speaking generally, but this is a good majority of men. They don't talk about their issues.
Yeah.
Why does he want to work full time?
Or does he really want to focus on something he loves?
Yeah. Is he working on some idea that he's afraid to tell you about?
Yeah.
That he thinks could make a lot of money, but maybe doesn't want to tell you because he wants to surprise you, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Because maybe I'll show I'm making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or is he exhausted from something?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's hard. Money is a big point of contention in relationships because, again, it's not always about the money. It's what it means for the relationship, right? Because money means, you know, your house, your household, and your goals and everything, and your communication. It's not so much about the dollar sign. So something is not being said, I think. That's my speculation here.
Yeah.
What is he not telling you?
There's that. But I feel like there's also, what's the degree of your financial crisis? Like, how bad is it? If let's say you have a lot of debts and you want to pay them off ASAP and you don't have a plan. For example, a lot of couples don't have a financial plan in their relationship or in their marriage. And that's why there's a lot of couples that are left here like in the dark and they're like, what do we do? And they're mostly scared, and because they don't know how to go about paying off those debts or saving or anything that has to do with money. So I feel like a lot of couples don't sit down and also talk about money. Like in our previous episode, we were talking about this. If you have a set plan or a goal, and I feel like that works for anything. If you have a goal, a specific goal financially or in general in your relationship, work-wise, career-wise, your mentality towards this will be different. You won't be scared. You won't be fearful because you're following a plan now. And if it's a financial crisis that's to a degree where you really like every dollar counts, then I get why she needs her partner to work extra hours, you know, especially if, let's say, they have a lot to pay off.
Mm-hmm. So that needs to be discussed. Then.
That needs to be discussed.
Do you have savings already? You know?
Yeah.
Do you know about maybe the savings or some investment somewhere, right? So there's a lot of factors to consider whether can he afford not to work full time?
Right.
And maybe do you know about this or not? Maybe you have enough savings to cover you for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and also ultimately it's not, I wouldn't say it's about working full time. It's about making more money.
Exactly.
Right? What you really are saying is you need more money.
Yeah.
And that's completely fine. So you sit down. All right. How do we make more money now?
There you go.
Maybe there's a way to make more money without having to work full time. If he feels like he doesn't want to do 40 hours, for example.
Yeah.
Right? There's a way to make money working under 20 hours, but making more than you would working 40 hours. It's a different conversation, obviously. But with that in mind, I would say it's hard, but the hard thing to do is being able to bring this up without pointing fingers.
Yes.
Because when you're emotionally charged, you're going to feel like this person, you don't care about our marriage. If you have kids, you don't care about your family. You don't want to work full time. And then one of them recedes back into behind the wall. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it can be so hard, especially if you're in a marriage, because one person can spend more than the other and can be easily blamed for things. But you need to acknowledge that this person, if they want to spend a lot on something they enjoy, if they need to cut back, sure, let them cut back. But you need to have that thing you enjoy in life. If there's something that, if it's so important to you, then make sure that your spending is on that. But the rest is what you need to like really cut or really control or minimize, you know? And the other partner will have something else that they really enjoy spending on. And that's what they should focus their money on. And in a controlled way, of course. I'm not saying spend all your dollars, but my next point is I wanted to ask you, when we started this business or before starting it, you were working part-time or full-time?
Part-time.
You were working part-time. Right. But you didn't enjoy it. Much. Yeah, you weren't making much. You didn't enjoy it. But
to be fair,
you still worked because you needed the dollars, you know?
What worked for us is we had a plan.
Exactly.
And you respected that plan and you were on board. You also were working you were working full-time.
I was working full-time. Yeah, because I finished university, so I could afford to work full-time. It's also a bit more in my field, so I let myself do it. But you weren't. You were working part-time because it was at a phone company. Rogers.
Rogers. So
phone
it's a cell phone company, whatever. But
right.
I actually was enjoying to a certain extent because I love sales, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was enjoying the team. The manager was great and everything. So
that
at least was as a job was the best I've had. So and but there were moments where I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Like I don't want to be here because it's not my dream, right?
Exactly.
But I valued the lessons, right? Because I love sales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But what helped us, financially, is that our goal. We had a plan.
Yes.
We knew we weren't going to stay there forever. So your mindset towards where you're working is not the same. It's not going to be like, ugh.
Yeah, it changes a lot when you have a goal and a plan.
Yeah.
Than when you're not sure.
Exactly.
And if you're not sure, it's not that it's wrong. It's just if you you can easily feel like you're stuck somewhere. But you're not unless that's what you believe. When you change your mindset and say, okay, I'm not going to be here. I'm out of here in a year.
Yeah.
What do I have to do? Not can I?
Exactly.
How do I? Not can I or maybe or I hope.
Change your vocabulary.
Yes. So with that said see if you can have a plan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would say a plan and being able to discuss this without pointing fingers.
Yes.
There's always a reason behind what someone is doing or not doing.
Yeah. Third person here, not valuing time the way I do, say being late for a date or a reservation. So again, there's not a lot of details here, but if there's someone that are always late, if let's say it's a nurse or someone that works in a hospital or somewhere that you really can't control when you finish work, for example, it's more understandable. But if you're someone forgetful and it happens more often, then I would question their priorities in life. Because if you were always late for dinner reservation, we would live together, so we wouldn't always be late. But if, let's say you were...
Before we lived together,
you were never late. You were always punctual. But if you were always late, me being someone punctual and a neat freak and all that, I wouldn't enjoy it. I would hate it. So it would get to me. And especially, let's say if I communicated it to you and be like, can you try to be more come in time, you know?
We've had those conversations. Like now, you tend to be, you'll prepare for something to be more in time than I am. Like I tend to rush more to get ready for something, for example, because I take my time, right?
Right.
So, and we've had arguments sometimes about that. So I think it's also maybe not just valuing the time, but the thing, right? So what is the thing that requires your time commitment? Like a date, I totally get it. If the person's half hour late all the time, you're going to feel like you're left out, right? If it's other things, if it's just like we're going to grocery shopping and we have nothing else, then there's nothing specific that requires us to be on 5 minutes early or whatever. So I think it's having the conversation, tell the person, hey, I care about you. If you do, like if you're together, I'm assuming you do, I care about you, but I need to confess to you that this is bothering me.
Yeah.
And bring it up in a way that says, this is how I feel, not something you did or didn't do.
Yeah.
So this is important to me.
Yeah.
You're not doing it on purpose. I'm sure that you're not trying to neglect me or neglect this, but I feel like you don't realize. So is there something we can do, because we're a team, where say you can be more punctual? Because maybe you're not doing it on purpose. It's being punctual is a habit and skill.
Yeah.
It's knowing how to prepare yourself ahead of time. So being able to bring that up and say, okay, what can we do? Can I help you? Because I'm good at being punctual. Can I help you? For example, me being more punctual or manage your time better.
Honestly, it's just really knowing how long it takes for you to get ready for something, and making sure that you put a timer, or let's say a reminder at a certain time. Okay, start getting ready, because that's how long you'll need.
And sometimes if you think you're going to be there at 8, pretend that you have to be there at 7:30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we Arabs, if you say 8, it means we'll be there at 9. So you got to tell them be there at 7.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing. It's psychological time, right? So maybe that's another strategy too.
Right. Okay.
What else, Rita?
All right. Oh, that one. Talked with his ex behind my back for a couple months and told her that he loved her more than me. So I really hope you're not with him anymore. Not to judge here, but that's just not, it's not just a red flag. It's a big no. That's emotional cheating right there.
I wonder how you discovered this.
Yeah.
How did he tell you?
Sometimes it's
a he or she?
She
found out.
Talked with his ex behind my back for a couple months and told her that he loved her more. Okay, so I'm guessing it's a she. So she's saying that, and he, yeah.
All right. Okay. Like, what do you want me to do this?
Exactly.
You love her? Okay.
Well, no, sometimes they find out.
Okay, fuck out of my face.
Yeah, or the ex calls and finds out and like tries to ruin the relationship. You know what I mean?
Does he also love you? Is that what's been said? Like, he loves you, but loves her more than he loves you?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, go with the person.
Break up with that. So. Yeah,
you think it's a breakup? I mean.
Yeah. What?
Nothing else to say. Like, no, I'm trying to see. Hold on. Like, look, what I can say is, I think everybody deep down is good at heart. But there can be so much emotional baggage that causes someone to be very confused. This person seems emotionally unstable and confused. They don't know what they want. That dude doesn't seem to know what he wants. And do you want that instability in your relationship? If it happens once, it can happen again. So what are you fighting for? You still with him? If you wrote this message thinking, can I fix this? And I hope you can, but if you discover that your partner loves their ex more than you, I think your value is not being recognized. So you can sit down with them and say, if our relationship is not providing what you need, then there's the door. I don't know.
Exactly.
And then if the person's going to be, and I believe in second chances and growth, but the person has to be willing to do that.
Yeah.
And from the information I'm getting here, the person doesn't look like they're ready. So if they actually sit down and say, okay, I said that like 6 months ago because I was confused and I'm scared of relationships and blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's why everything is context. I don't know whether she found that out now and he spoke to her yesterday or she discovered a year ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or if it's something where they had a huge argument and just to spite her, he basically called his ex and said something stupid like that. Yeah.
Yes. So it's not like you instantly have to say, fuck you, bye, but you clearly need to establish what your relationship, where the value of your relationship is.
Yeah.
And there definitely needs to be emotional work here. Some work needs to be done emotionally and in self-awareness.
If they're still together.
Yes. Otherwise, there's the door, buddy.
Exactly. All right. Next person. They wrote silent treatment, passive aggressive behaviors.
So that has broken trust.
Broken trust and poor communication. For me,
why do people do that? Why do people do silent treatment and passive aggressive? It's like it's one or the other or both. It starts with saying nothing or slipping in a comment.
Because it's something that you hate and communicated and never really got heard. So to piss that person off, you act that way for them to hear it, but at the same time show that whatever, you're not bothered from it anymore, you know? It's kind of like a how do I say, coping mechanism with not being heard. Yeah, so
it's also lack of courage. It's emotions are scary and you don't know how to express them because you easily feel like what you're about to express is bad.
Yeah.
So you just don't say it. If you're bothered, you're like, of course, there's a difference between silent treatment and needing a break. Meaning, I can't talk right now. I'm on an 8 out of 10 in anger level. And I'll talk to you when I'm back at 3.
Yeah.
That actually takes a lot of grounded energy to be able to even say that.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do that.
Which
like,
we
I
do
can't
that,
talk
yeah.
right now. So we just both are silent. It's not like I'm ignoring you. It's I'm not ready.
Yeah.
That's different. And you need to know that when your partner does that to you, so you don't feel like it's not that your value now is you're not being degraded. The person is respecting you, saying, I don't want to start shouting because I have a lot of emotions. Give me just like an hour. So
yeah.
that can be a very healthy way of managing your argument and your emotions.
Yeah. And if that partner is giving you passive aggressive behavior and silent treatment and you make fun of it, that's not going to help the situation. It'll only escalate.
If you make fun of their passive aggressive.
Look at you being silent again, for example.
That's your passive aggressive then, if you're doing that.
Exactly. So if you are doing that as well, then you're not any different. Or if you're trying to get an answer right away, or you snap, if let's say they give you a passive aggressive comment, it's not something that's going to be fixed because you need to like ask them directly what it is that's bothering them. And they might tell you in that moment, oh, whatever, no, nothing bothers me. No, I'm good, I'm fine. And it's more passive aggressiveness. But there's a method in how you do this, because the more you do it and you ignore it, the more it's going to continue. Because there's a lot of passive aggressive, like, what's wrong? Just tell me what's wrong. What did I do? That's not sincere, you know? There's
right.
It's an art.
What did I do? What's wrong? Yeah, like, it's tone, right?
Yeah. If you really want to know, it's really an art form, communication. Like how, when you ask me what's wrong with me, you did not let me go. Because in the beginning, I didn't give you silent treatment, but I would tend to want to turn my back and just really not face you or talk to you. But you wouldn't leave. You wouldn't also make fun of me, or you wouldn't comment as to why I'm doing this, nor call me a monster or someone that's make me feel less than how I'm feeling at that moment. Because you are feeling like shit in that moment. So
nor did I force myself.
No. But you stayed there.
Here. Yeah. How did that make you feel?
Like you really cared. So you staying here and really like trying to give me the time in expressing how I feel when I'm ready helped a lot. But it was hard in the beginning because I didn't want to communicate my feelings with you. I didn't feel like saying anything. I just wanted to like leave. And I would tell you, leave me alone. I don't want to face you right now.
Which I would.
Which you would. But sometimes I'm just like, I don't want that. So I would just stay there.
You want
angry,
me to stay.
Yeah. Pouting, you know? Yeah.
Because I think what's helped me is I like to see through people. Sometimes it's like a little personal exercise I do where I try to see through someone's shell. Like almost seeing the child in that person. Everybody has this innocent, pure child in them.
Yeah.
So when you see someone being passive aggressive or being aggressive, you see a child in there that's scared or that's innocent, that's trying to say something. when someone's being passive aggressive, the child in them is saying, I feel scared.
Yeah.
Kids like are super honest,
deep
right?
Analysis.
Yeah, or it's saying, I feel like I'm weak. That's like the honest thing you could say. So for an adult to be able to be in touch with that innocence and your genuine feelings, I find is very powerful.
Yeah.
Like especially if stereotypically you see this big tough looking guy who's able to say, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I find that to be very brave.
Yeah.
I find it to be admirable and honest. That's strength. Yeah. Instead of I'm fine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or fine, I'll do it myself, like shit like that. Again, there's a child in there, maybe from 5 years old or even earlier, that was not taught to value their feelings. Yeah. So someone giving you passive aggressive silent treatment is someone has some deep, either has hurts, insecurities, something bothering them that they don't know how to tell you honestly. They don't know how to tell you, this is how I feel. Yeah. So if you can use that exercise to see the child in them, it might help you be more empathetic, because it hurts to be treated silently or to be given passive aggressive treatment. But I think it's a sign of strength, and
it's an exercise.
Yeah. And if you can use your empathy to reach further, to see beyond this shell of passive aggressive and silence, to see, okay, someone's trying to tell me something. Yeah. Because someone being passive aggressive is clearly trying to say something. It's just they're saying it dysfunctionally. Yeah. The real way, and this is from what I learned, because you know how we said there's passive aggressive, and aggressive. The healthy way is calm, assertive. Assertive doesn't mean dominant. It's not, to assert mean to be clear. Being clear about what you feel. So maybe there's another time where you can invite that person also when the feelings have calmed down, saying, there's something that clearly was bothering you. I want you to understand that I'm here for you. Yeah. You want to say, like, just tell me what's bothering you. Yeah. I care about you. Reach for the person. Yeah. By the way, you're gorgeous.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Why did you feel like saying that right now?
I don't know, because I'm staring at you right now while you're talking, and I'm just like, wow.
You're actually a very handsome man as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Let's move on. Another move that broke someone's trust is changing a phone password.
Oh, shit.
So...
Oh, shit.
I would
do that and fix myself.
I would lose trust as well. Okay, can I just point out?
The fuck do you have to hide?
Why? Okay, why do some... I never understood relationships and couples and don't have access to each other's phone. I never understood that. Because what are you hiding? If it's work, does it matter if she knows about it or if he knows about it? Or if it's friends, does it matter? So why is there a passcode? Because your Face ID is enabled on my phone and vice versa. Because why hide anything? You know, we share everything. Everything is just open and there's really nothing to hide. So why is there a code? This is something I never understood. So
the code of trust.
The code of trust, exactly. So if you're changing your phone password suddenly, yeah, that's weird. And then not sharing it with your partner when she had it previously, or he, I don't know if this is he or she. If they had your access to your phone before and then you change the passcode, that's suspect.
I think the only maybe valid reason is if you have throwing a birthday party and you have some secrets in there, you don't want to tell them.
Change the name.
You know, I guess.
Someone calling you, change the name. Or
that's about the only thing we hide from each other. If I'm throwing you a surprise, you know what I mean? But even we don't do that as much for Christmas. We're just like, what do you want?
It's just, or each other's birthday. Just get me that.
But yeah, I mean, if you change your
but if
password, I'd be like, I would definitely be talking. Yeah. It would hurt. I'd be like, why?
The only reason I would change my password is if I don't like my code anymore and I want to have a different code. But then even that I'll share too. Yeah.
And then there's Face ID. It's more like if you suddenly remove Face ID and I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Of course. So I hope you guys talked about that. You definitely need to talk about that. Because especially that if there's an agreement, to each their own rules. If you guys have both decided, no, I don't need to share the password and whatever, fine. I don't get it. I don't see why you should, especially if there's an emergency, I want you to access the phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on top
Exactly.
of that, we share a business, right? So it's like, what?
There's no reason why I shouldn't have access to your phone. Not that there should be a reason for every couple to have access to each other's phone. I never go on your phone anyway, but knowing that there's a passcode that you're not sharing with me is just a weird mindset, It's a weird, it's a weird move. Why would you feel uncomfortable if I had a passcode? You're hiding something in your phone.
Different locks, different kinds of locks in a relationship are a reflection of a lock on the heart. If there's something you're not telling me, if you have a physical lock in there or a lock in your phone, there's maybe a lock in your heart.
Yeah.
So you open your heart, you open everything. Bank account, phone. If on your feed there's a woman in a bikini,
and
if that pops on my feed, I don't even hide that from you. It's like, because you know me, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no, and that's another mistake that sometimes guys make. By the way, I'm speaking on behalf, on the side of men, where maybe old school thinking is I will try to resolve my problems myself, but that looks even more suspicious. Like if a girl is flirting with you or you're getting weird ass conversations from a woman or a picture, I don't know what, and you're trying to handle it yourself, but that makes it look worse because it's like, what are you not telling me? And then you discover things that you're talking to another woman, blah, blah, blah. So even if your intentions are correct, by not being transparent, you're making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So your best, smartest thing is to just be transparent. Just open my head here, okay? Like all kinds of thoughts, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yes. As soon as you have someone talking to you, look at this
yes,
person talking
like
to
DMs,
me,
I don't know why. Like, oh, look, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
But that takes a lot of courage to do, to completely be transparent.
There's also this it's like normal in society for a partner not to share their passcode with their girlfriend, and the girlfriend won't do it with him because he's not doing it with her. So I feel like most...
You're going to silent treat me, I'll silent treat you.
There you go.
That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Anyway, I
think you got to ask yourself, if you want to do that, whatever, it's your life. But what kind of relationship do you want? I wanted a relationship where we are completely transparent with you, because I don't like anything being hidden from me.
Yeah.
It hurts. Like if you're not telling me things and there's all things about you I don't know, it's weird to me.
Yeah.
So as a result, I will be completely transparent.
Yeah.
So know what you want in a relationship and then be that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Treat someone the way you want to be treated.
Golden rule, baby.
So if you want full transparency, share your code. Don't hide your phone.
Right.
Do more than that. Be fully transparent. If you want her to be fully transparent, or him, vice versa, then do it yourself. Start that. Open that door. The third biggest struggle in marriage, from that graph that we mentioned in the beginning, was emotional neglect. I feel like emotional neglect by itself is something that... It's funny though, because I feel like it all ties into poor communication, because it all comes down to expressing yourself and expressing your feelings, how you feeling, like sharing your feelings and being honest about it and really raw. Is you automatically remove broken trust or any emotional neglect that you have in your relationship, because you really know your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything about us is transparency and expressing our feelings, and really, like, in that moment, if something bothers us, we talk about it. We don't hide it, and never blame each other for anything. Anything that is causing a drift is the issue, is never between us, So this is why broken trust, emotional neglect, sexual intimacy, hurt and healing, conflict, all of that would be removed if you didn't have poor communication. if you're the master of communication in your relationship, it fixes everything.
Which takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel emotionally neglected, what does that mean, emotional neglect? It's clearly a neglect of a need. What is this stupid bug?
There's a stupid fruit fly.
It's been hovering here since yesterday, as I was saying.
Emotional neglect.
Right now, the emotion that I'm feeling is rage against this bug. Emotional neglect is a need that's not being met, okay? Which means, are you communicating that? Did you tell your partner, I feel neglected? It's hard to even communicate. Of course, you don't have to tell the person, you are neglecting me. I feel there's something that I'm feeling that I feel like is not being met. Okay. I feel a certain way, because emotional neglect can come in different ways, right?
Yeah.
You can be frustrated about something and you feel like the person doesn't care. Maybe they're not doing it on purpose. Maybe you're being passive. You're not saying anything. And then it builds and builds and builds, and I feel neglected.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have been communicating, but the person's ignoring because maybe there's different reasons. Maybe it's them that is ignoring you. So you got to sit down. You need to sit down and do the uncomfortable work. It's uncomfortable. I've come up to you sometimes and said, this is uncomfortable for me to bring up to you, but I'm your husband. I must tell you because it's on my heart. It's on my mind, right? And sometimes, depending on the situation, you or me might respond in a way that's like...
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to hear it.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
But this is where I'll weigh. I'll be like, look, I'm bringing this up. I don't know if you're ready to have this conversation. If not, I'll wait. But at the same time, you acknowledge that and respect that I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Right? From what you've told me. You appreciate that I bring this up. I'm also not insulting you. I'm not saying, look at this stupid shit you're doing all day. I don't know. I'd be like, okay, I feel like this is something we need to talk about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We all have something to work on. But if we don't hold each other accountable, how do we grow, right? There's things I need to work on. And I expect you to tell me, right? So you must tell your partner if you feel any kind of neglect. Just the key to do it is to be very non-accusing.
Preach! All right. So let's wrap this up.
Is there anything you want to add to this?
You really cover it. Like you say everything that... You're so well spoken, first of all. Thanks. Yeah. And second of all, like you really speak everything that's on my mind. So I don't really have anything to add.
You're very sexy.
Oh, wow.
And
thanks.
Smart.
Oh, thank you.
There's something in your eyes that exudes power.
Like what?
And I just threw this publicly.
Okay.
People don't you guys agree, whoever's watching?
This is how I thank him. I'm just like, oh, cool. Wow. Nice. Thanks. Good to know. I'm kidding.
I love you.
I love you.
But I wanted to say something about poor communication. What is the opposite? Like, we always talk about communication issues, poor communication. What is strong communication? What is rich communication?
You're asking
yes,
me? Oh, okay.
You. What is rich communication or strong communication?
Well, that always goes back to our golden rule. Transparency. That's rich communication.
So transparency?
Being able to talk about your most uncomfortable thing. Something you don't feel comfortable talking about, but being able to talk about it with your partner still and not feel ashamed.
So being powerful enough to embrace your vulnerability.
Yeah.
Be very vulnerable.
And really speak your mind.
Yes. And make sure that your partner is also equally vulnerable. Because being vulnerable means you're all exposed. There's no shield.
Yeah.
So the person can strike you with a sword. That you both have to be very vulnerable.
Yep. What was that other thing? You said rich
communication.
But you said something else before.
Strong communication.
Oh, strong communication. Okay, so rich would be the top.
No, because you said poor communication, so the opposite would be rich.
Right. Okay.
I was going with that analogy.
So yeah, that's how I would describe rich communication.
If you guys want to tell us how you communicate, like what are your strong points in communication, and maybe what are things that you struggle with or want to work on?
Yes, and please share it on our website, riseprojects.com/hardheaded. Sorry about that. ryzeprojects.com/hardheaded.
That's much better, Rita.
Thank you very much, Mark. So please share your thoughts, your stories. Throw us questions about relationship or marriage, about someone you know even. And don't worry, it's private, so we'll have no idea who's talking to us.
Yes, the mystery.
It'll always be a mystery.
Yes.
Just always share details because it helps us.
Yes, elaborate.
Talk more about it. Discuss in depth. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yes.
Thank you for listening and supporting us as always. Don't forget to share your thoughts, stories, throw us questions, and let us know if you need relationship advice on our website, riseprojects.com/hardheaded. Sign up to our newsletter to stay up to date with our podcast and all of our announcements. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and directly on our website, riseprojects.com.
Can you guys tell that she's smiling? Yeah.
With that said, see you on the next episode.
Take care.